What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for the post-mortem as Spurs drew with Manchester United 2-2 after taking the lead in the 91st minute. And we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty of the game a bit later on. But first and foremost, we have got some breaking news regarding Randall Kolo Muani, as Fabrice Hawkins confirms that Tottenham's Randall Kolo Muani's injury is more serious than first expected. This morning's examinations have revealed that Randall Kolo Muani has fractured his jaw, and not what we need right now. With Dom Solanke not returning, with Richarlison being Richarlison, Dane Scarlett, he needs to be getting some minutes now. Yeah, we're just looking very short in the number 9 options at this moment in time, and yeah, not great.
Yeah, and just to confirm, he has now already been replaced in the upcoming France squad for the upcoming international break. Florian Thauvin has replaced him, so that injury seems to be confirmed at this point. Such devastating news. Apparently, fractured jaws could take upwards of around 6 to 8 weeks, potentially, to heal, depending on how serious it is. It depends. If it's a minor one, potentially 3 weeks, but it could take up to, apparently to fully heal and get him back playing could take 6 to 8 weeks. So obviously we'll wait for the official prognosis about how long he's going to be out. But if it is 6 weeks, that is a devastating blow for him, because he's literally just come back from a dead leg. That would kept him out for some reason. It kept him for nearly a month, didn't it? Like really unsuspectingly. We thought he was going to be maybe a weekend. That was a month. He's just come back. It's clearly taken him a bit of time to get up to speed, get to full fitness, and he's just starting to look sharp against Copenhagen. Yesterday in the first half, I don't think he was at his best, but he's just getting up to full fitness, and now this happens. And as you say, it leaves us in a bit of a pickle at the moment with our striking options. Yeah. Somehow, I don't know how this has happened, but Richarlison is the only striker that can stay fit. I don't know how that's happened, how we live in a universe where that's a possibility, but Richarlison's a striker who has been perennially injured ever since he's come to Tottenham. Now he's the only striker we have who can stay fit.
And you've got the two strikers that are injured, hardly had injuries at all before they joined Tottenham.
Solanke played, before he came to Spurs, played all 38 games for Bournemouth, and Muani's actually never had an injury recorded in his history. And those are strikers who can't stay fit. Tottenham Hotspur is just a simulation, I swear. Like, what is this football club? Everything gets inverted when you come here, so it's very concerning. And also, it means, like, when Muani comes back, is it going to take another, few weeks, few games for him to get back to full fitness? What do you now do in January if Muani's not fully firing at that point? If Solanke is also recovering at that point, and we're only left with Richarlison, it's a very tricky situation Thomas Frank has to manage. It's another blow that we just don't need right now, the amount of injuries we got. I think Frank must be pulling his hair out at the moment with these kind of things, because I think what Muani had it with a clash with Maguire, just one of those things. It just happens. Like, you can't really plan for it. It's not like a muscle injury or something where you can say, okay, maybe you should have taken it, maybe you shouldn't have started this game, or maybe he was in the red zone. Like, no, he just had a clash of heads with Maguire, and now he's got a fractured jaw and could be out for 6 weeks. It's how's your luck?
Literally, the last person probably in the Premier League that you want to have a clash of heads with is Harry Maguire, with the size of his head. But look, the reality is, I think you got to give more minutes to Dane Scarlett now. You got to give more minutes to Matisse Tell, and Matisse Tell, 2 out of the last 3 Premier League games he scored. So it's time for these players to step up.
Well, two in his last 3 starts.
Yeah. Well, not 3 starts. He didn't start yesterday.
That's true. Two in his last 3 Premier League games. And he looked obviously more confident. There's videos of him in training with his showing off his finishing ability. We know he's got the talent. It's just about getting him up to speed. And now, look, again, he's going to have another big opportunity. But again, he's going to be playing up front a lot, which he hasn't really convinced. But I guess his 2 goals have come from the number 9 position. So let's hope he can step up. And Dane Scarlett, we were saying before, how's he going to get an opportunity with 3 strikers potentially coming back once Solanke's back? Well, now this is happening, and now we're hearing Solanke, we're not even sure when he's going to be back at the moment. So I think we're going to have to give Solanke minutes. I think it's more out of necessity than anything. He's going to have to get minutes at the moment because we just don't have the numbers.
Yeah, but I think one thing's for certain. I guess Richarlison's got to start the North London derby. 2
He
weeks'
will
time.
have to, unless he goes for Tell. But yeah, he's going to have to start Richarlison.
I go for Richarlison over Tell in a game like that because you need more physicality against those centre backs.
And look, Rishi scored anyway in his last game. So the problem is with Rishi is, he's had such an emotional reaction to scoring that goal. I know he has been going through it at the moment because of his bad form. Like, he hasn't scored since the opening day, has he? No, so he scored against Brighton. But apparently he's been 12 games without a goal. But every time Rishi scores, it's like some big emotional reaction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not, it sounds harsh. I'm not like trying to say like, obviously he's got things going on and whatever, but it's like every time he needs like some big moment, you know what I mean, to like change things. And like he can't just ever be like a regular goal scorer where it's just his thing to score goals. You know, it has to be like a big emotional outpouring, which I feel sorry for. But hopefully this can be another turning point for him. But we always say
how many turning points do we have? But look, that's the news on Randall Kolo Muani. We'll have to wait for more kind of information in terms of when he's going to be back. But in better news and in better injury news, Cuti Romero, Frank was asked about after the game on Cuti Romero because obviously he went off with an injury yesterday, but Thomas Frank confirms that he's completely fine and he's going to go on international duty as usual.
Yeah, and he looked completely fine when he was running down the touchline to celebrate Rishi's winner, well, supposed winner. So, yeah, it seems like he's good. And I was worried at that point because he seemed distressed. He just flopped down to the floor, didn't he? It looked like, okay, wow, is this going to be a serious injury? But I could tell immediately he was on the touchline, basically giving orders on the bench in the technical area like he was an assistant manager. So, yeah, he seemed fine.
In terms of some potential transfer news and talking of strikers, Spurs has been linked with Jonathan David yet again. Tuto Mercado Web says that Chelsea and Tottenham are weighing up January moves for Juventus and Canada striker Jonathan David. Former Lille striker isn't convincing, so the club may consider a move away as early as the winter transfer window. There is a belief that he could be signed on a loan until the end of the season. Only 1 goal and 1 assist so far this season. I think, in the summer we were saying, he could be a really good option for Spurs. But I think even prior to the summer where he had a really good season last year, there's always been those question marks there on Jonathan David. Yeah,
about whether he can make the step up to a better league. I think in the Champions League, though, in the last couple of years for Lille, he was actually quite good. So that made me think, okay, maybe this is a guy who is ready for that better step. But in international level, he's always maybe flat to deceive on the bigger stages. But he also did have a good tournament, didn't he? I think it was a Copa America. He had quite a good tournament. So it's difficult to know about him, but he's obviously struggling at the moment. Same with Openda. They signed 2 strikers, Openda and David. You're probably thinking great options, 2 really good options, and they can't get in the team ahead of Vlahovic at the moment. So that both of them are flattery to deceive. I think it's hard to know what to think about our striking options at the moment, because at the moment I've always been consistent. We've got 3 good strikers in my opinion at the club, and as long as they're all fit, I'm pretty happy for the time being. I'm not like panicking about signing a striker, but we've just been through it. Solanke's injured now, Muani's got a fractured jaw, Rishi isn't quite cutting it, and if you're relying on him and he's not cutting it, then you might have to be ruthless in January if these things persist, in terms of, even if it, not even saying sell him, but we might have to just sign someone. We might have to just get someone in who is going to be a regular goal scorer or going to provide a bigger threat, because at the moment, as much as Muani's been good, he's now injured and he hasn't scored. Solanke, what is going on with him? He's got this ankle problem, and that doesn't seem to be going away at the moment. He's not even sure if he's going to be back after the international break. So that seems to be an ongoing issue, like they're going to have to manage for the time being until he's fully fit. So if come January we still have these problems with Muani and Solanke, we're going to have to dip into the market.
Yeah, 100%. And
then you risk having 4 strikers on the books.
You know how it's going to work out. It's worked out for us before, where we've been desperate for a centre-back. We got so many injuries in that position, and we signed Radu Dragusin, and as soon as we sign him, all the injuries start to clear up. And they don't get many minutes. And I envisage something similar happening here. Like, we go into that January transfer window, everyone's like, we need a striker. Muani's injuries, I mean, he should be back, but you never know about picking up another one. Richarlison, he's always on the verge or next door to an injury, and Don Solanke, who knows what's going on with him. So if we're going into that January transfer window needing a striker, who knows? They could clear up in the next few weeks and Jonathan David might not get any minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's hard to judge it right now, where we stand, because there's going to take some time for all of them to get fit and whatever. And I don't know right now if we necessarily need a striker, but if you're saying to me right now, January opens tomorrow, obviously we're going to need to sign one. but it doesn't open tomorrow, it opens in 2 months' time. It could be a different situation then.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to judge. But yeah, in terms of Jonathan David, he could be quite a good, like, if Muani is struggling, whatever, and we need an alternative to him, he could be quite good. But yeah, as you say, I envisage Muani should be all right by then.
For Muani, we'll go for Muani's replacement for Juventus and Jonathan David. Next up, we're going to talk about Iliman Ndiaye again from Everton. Team Talk claiming that Tottenham have made Everton winger Iliman Ndiaye a prime target for the upcoming January transfer window. It's believed that Newcastle, Juventus, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid are all interested in the Senegalese star. So obviously, I think at the beginning of the January transfer window, he'll actually be at the AFCON. So, I mean, Senegal probably likely to, last the distance or close to the distance. So probably at the beginning of the window, he will be on international duty along with Pape Matar. But I've made it no secret. Yeah, I love Iliman Ndiaye. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's getting better. Can play on the left, can play on the right. Tricky customer, knows where the back of the net is. I think he's having a good season.
He is, and he scored a great goal last time out against Sunderland as well. That was a really nice goal, and he's definitely adding goals to his game, which is always the big thing for me when getting him. I think he's always been a fantastic dribbler. He's always been one who really catches the eye on the ball, and he's hard to kind of stop. I just felt like we need a bit more of a goal-scoring winger, but he is definitely adding goals, and if he continues to do that, yeah, I think, to be honest, I'll take him anyway, because I think, I'm not necessarily, but just because he's the answer to our problems, but I just think it improves the team, and I think he's a better player than what we got. However, you have to say Odegaard's playing better recently. Obviously, Tell got a goal the other game. So, again, if Odegaard continues on this trajectory, maybe come January, we won't feel like you definitely need a winger as much as we feel like we need it now, because they are improving. But for sure, I think if you're looking at the team, there's clearly a spot there in that left wing which no one's really nailed down, like, for certain. So I think Ndiaye, I would love to bring him in January, whether that's possible or feasible. I think signing from within the Premier League is always very difficult in January because, Premier League teams have a lot of money because they're the wealthiest teams in the world, and they're less likely to sell in January because it's mid-season and they're less likely to want to lose their players. So, how much would it take to get Ndiaye in Jan compared to the summer? Could be a different kind of story. So I don't expect Spurs to actually get Ndiaye in January. But yeah, look, Odegaard's playing well, so I want to focus on him. That's what I think he's making strides at the moment. So I don't want to go thinking, we have to replace him. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, if Ndiaye comes in, like, he'll obviously go above Odegaard in the pecking order. But I feel like we've got so many games, such a long season ahead. Champions League, obviously, there's a issue with the squad there if we do sign Ndiaye, which we'll talk about if we do sign him. But you're looking at the right wing, you're looking at the left wing, he can play on both. I feel like we can't keep playing Kudus every single game. Johnson, when he comes in, I think the level drops quite a bit. So I feel like even if Ndiaye comes in, I still think Odegaard will get a significant amount of minutes, and Ndiaye can still get a significant amount of minutes as well. So I don't think it's too much of a problem from that aspect.
Yeah. Look, I'd like him, and I'd like to see him in January. I don't see the need at the moment to push the boat out necessarily to get him in this January, unless the Odegaard doesn't continue what we're seeing.
Yeah. Last but not least, we've been linked by the Bleacher Report to a guy named Yan Diomande. Tottenham are tracking Yan Diomande ahead of the winter window. The 18-year-old winger has 2 goals and 3 assists in 9 Bundesliga matches for RB Leipzig this season. The Ivorian is also being tracked by Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester City. So I don't know much about him, to be fair.
Was he the guy who was at Sporting? Did they sign him from Sporting?
I don't know.
Diomande. I don't know. I don't know much about him. No, different guy I'm thinking. Young centre-back?
Yeah,
no, forward.
Young centre-back with 3 goals and 2 assists.
He's a forward. No, he's a forward. Yeah, the Diomande I'm thinking of was a centre-back. Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not?
So obviously it's his first season at Leipzig this season.
Seems to be doing very well then.
Seems to be doing very well. He's also playing a lot for Ivory Coast, scored in Ivory Coast last 2 games as well. So he's a player actually at 18 years of age, seems to be doing extremely well for his age.
Is he like a winger? Yeah, it looks like a winger.
He's a winger.
Wow, he seems to be very good.
Sim sold He's seen one data FB ref graph. He's sold.
I'm seeing a lot of dark greens here. A lot of dark greens. And he seems to be good in the defensive numbers as well. Oh, look, I've never seen him play. Can't really comment. Who's the publication?
Bleacher Report.
Bleacher, okay. What you reckon, January?
I doubt it. I think if we are going to get him, it's one for the summer. But again, like, we've got young wingers. I think we need just someone that's just like ready-made to come in and like an Indai, someone like that.
Well, he's already scoring in the Bundesliga at 18. That's very impressive.
But only like 3 goals in his career.
Yeah, but all this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this season, 100%. He's doing really well, but it's a very small sample size. Extremely small. So do you want to kind of do your transfer business over like a really small sample size?
Probably not.
Exactly.
But look, that's me. I'm sure the scouting team have more knowledge than I do when it comes to the sample size.
Yeah, but if he's coming, then he's coming to take like one of Odebear or Tell's role in the squad. That's the reality. And if Tell doesn't kick on, then fine, I'll be happy with it. But if not, and Tell keeps progressing and Odebear keeps progressing the way he's doing, then I just want someone more kind of ready-made to come in and hit the ground running. That's just where I'm at. All right, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we have spoken about today. I think it's time to talk about the game yesterday. It was just classic Spurs yesterday, man. Like, I guess first of all we'll get into the lineup, because I think the lineup from Thomas Frank was wrong yesterday. I think we can safely say that. I just don't understand for the life of me why he went for both Richarlison and Muani in the starting lineup. Why didn't he start Odebear when Odebear is clearly a man on the up at this moment in time? We keep saying his performances keep getting better and better and better. Proved in the second half how he keeps getting better and better and better. It just didn't make sense to me, that lineup.
You know, if he explained it, he did explain it after the game. He said he wanted Richarlison and Muani together so he can get some crosses in the box, and that's a way that they could hurt them. You know, Richarlison arriving at the back post to get headers, Muani as well. If they could overload the area, he thought they could potentially be a lot of joy there. Now, he said that Odebear and Udogie were not picked due to tactical reasons rather than rotation. If he would have just said, look, a doggy can't play every game. We need to rotate. Like, even though he's playing very well at the moment. Same with Odebear, you know, they're playing a lot of football. We need to get other. But he didn't say that. He said it's tactical. So I've got to take him on his word on that. If that is true, he's made a complete screw up, I think, when it comes to the lineup. Why did he think having Spence and Richarlison on the same side was going to cause United any problems? It didn't make sense to me. You got Spence, who doesn't want to go over a certain point. He doesn't like getting to the byline. Doesn't like to use his left foot. Doesn't like to put crosses in. When he's crossing, he's cutting inside and crossing it to the back post. You know, there's no link up with Richarlison. Richarlison's basically playing like a second striker. He's not playing like a left winger. So there's a massive chasm on that left-hand side. You need someone who's going to stretch the play and get to the byline and create width, because Richarlison's not going to do that. You know Richarlison's going to be tucked inside. So when I looked at the lineup, I kind of thought, okay, if you get Porro on the ball a lot or Johnson and get him crossing it in, and like a lot, and get Richarlison and Muani in there, I think I can see why. But the problem is we never really got into those positions because the build-up was so poor. And again, the chasm between the back line and the midfield and the attack is so big. How many times Javi's picking up the ball and he just no one around him, no help. That was really frustrating. So, I think the lineup definitely had some problems with it, and I think he admitted it pretty much at half time. Yeah,
I was just lost with the lineup, and I didn't know that he said that about the tactical reasons about Udogie, and that makes it even worse. That really does make it even worse, because we've seen pretty much all season that the build-up players on the left is pretty much gets hurt every time Jed Spence plays on that side. And I thought when Jed Spence moved over to the right, it looked a lot better because Jed was, getting down the line, getting to the byline, getting crosses in the box. He looked so much better on the right from an attacking point of view. And I think Frank got it completely wrong from the start. But I think the way we started the game, I know everyone's saying, "Oh, the first half was terrible. It looked exactly the same as the Chelsea game," which, you know, for the last 20 minutes of the first half, it did. Like the last 20 minutes of the first half, I thought was absolutely shocking, and Man United had us penned in a bit, and United were the ones looking like they were going to score, and even before they scored, it looked like, you know, they were growing in momentum and looked like they were going to get the next goal, and when they did score, it looked like the goal was coming, and they went 1-0 up, and quite deservedly so. But I felt like we started the game quite well, and for the first 20 minutes of that game, I was actually quite happy with what I was seeing.
I think happy is not the word, but I think for me anyway, I think we did start bright, and obviously we had that early chance with Richarlison. Brendan whips it in. We had a couple of early corners which were wasted. So it looked like, okay, on the front foot, clearly a bit of intent to start like we did against Copenhagen. Intense with the pressing, get at them early, we forced a mistake, didn't we, in the first minute from the keeper,
Yeah.
we put out for a corner. So it looked like, okay,
Well, I don't know if it was forced, but they made a mistake.
well, they made a mistake. Okay, it's, at the early part of the game, I was like, okay, this is okay, but we didn't do much. We had one chance from Richarlison. The only thing
we didn't create much chances, but it looked more positive.
It looked more positive.
It looked positive. We were playing forward. We were pressing high. You know, it's something that we weren't doing in the Chelsea game.
Yeah, I think Chelsea. The difference is Chelsea. We just literally had no kind of intent to go forward, and we, at least in this game, we were putting it in the box a lot earlier. We were looking like we weren't basically playing a cowardly game. We had an intent to attack Man United and to force something, but the quality for some reason wasn't there at that time. It wasn't just the quality, it's just that we weren't getting enough bodies in the box. We weren't doing enough, essentially, to ask enough questions of United, I would say, especially in that first half. In the 20 minutes after some bit of pressure, it wasn't like constant pressure. It was just like we were going forward a bit more.
But we had control of the game at that point, and like those first 20 minutes, we were in control.
Yeah, I would say we were in control without doing much. Yeah, but like we didn't really. It wasn't like, I don't know. It depends how you define control. If you had, it's just having the ball control. We had possession.
We had possession. We were the ones without creating any chances, because like at the end of that first half, we end up with a 0.07 xG or something. So it's clear the chances, we weren't creating enough chances. But the reality was, I felt we were the ones looking a lot more positive on the ball than Manchester United in the first 20 minutes.
Okay, we were, but is that enough to really?
I'm not saying it's enough, but in terms of...
Okay, but United will probably come very comfortable, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought we were more comfortable than United in those first 20 minutes.
That's fine, but we're at home. You know, those aren't things to, it's not like it's positive because it's better than Chelsea, but it's not too much to shout about. I'd say the first 20 minutes was okay. Like we had a bit of control. We didn't create much. We had one chance. United didn't really have much, but then, as you said, they grew into the game. They got the goal. Terrible defending for the goal, by the way. Not only, again, similar to Chelsea in the sense that we had chances to clear it before, and we didn't take them, and we're messing around with it, and all of a sudden it comes back to bite us. And the marking for the goal. They had 3 players against 2 at the back post. They had Mbeumo was completely free, and Dorgu was free. That was like Ange. Remember how many times we would say Ange is there's a player completely free at the back post all the time.
Yeah,
that reminded me of that. And I was wondering how that could happen. To be fair, I was saying before the game, if Dorgu starts, I'd be a bit more worried, and he did start. And he did cause us quite a few problems in that first half. That was a switch up I didn't expect, because they played Diallo up front in the front line rather than on wing back they usually been playing him. And I think that paid dividends for them, actually, because it meant they were a lot more defensively solid in that first half. And with Mbeumo, Diallo, Cunha, they had players who could carry the ball and all could run at us. And they were actually causing us a lot of problems. And they were stretching us as well. And I think Johnson wasn't tracking Dorgu all the way, which means Porro always had 2 players a lot of the time to manage. He had Mbeumo, who, by the way, played on the left-hand side, which, again, another surprise, which Amorim put in his lineup. And we had Dorgu. So Porro was, a lot of the time, struggling to deal with both of them. And you see the goal. Dorgu and Mbeumo both basically free at the back post. Porro had to choose one. And in the end, he kind of chose neither. And it kind of, he had that free header. And it's not like United created chance after chance, but they then kind of had control in that for the remaining 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the game completely flipped like 20 minutes in, where it looked like we were the more comfortable team, and then Man United took complete control and they looked a lot more dangerous than we looked in the first 20 minutes in the last 20 minutes of the first half. And for those 20 minutes, you're just thinking, like, this could actually be we could lose here because we're just not in the game in any stretch of the imagination. The whole of those last 20 minutes was played in our half. I think we defended okay for the most part, but the goal was disgraceful. And, to have Mbeumo to have a free header in the box, and now Vicario barely moves for the header as well.
It wasn't like right in the corner as well. I mean, it's a good header, and I don't think Vicario should have saved it, but it wasn't
at least
right
make an attempt for it,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just watched it go in.
Yeah, so
weird.
I mean, that goal was a shit show all round. But look, the half ends.
And also, there were so many moments where Xavi's getting the ball on the halfway line. He's turning his man. It happened a couple of times. He turned his man. I was like, wow, okay, that's good. And then he's on the halfway line with like 5 United players around him and literally not one Tottenham player in sight. It's like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, I know.
So frustrating. And then people accuse Xavi of oh, he's not doing enough time again. But look at this. He's beating a player, creating space, and then there's not one Tottenham player within 30 yards of him.
Exactly. He's not bloody Superman.
Yeah, what can he do?
He's not supposed to take it round every player on their team and put it in the back of the net himself.
I tell you what the best moment was of the first half. This made me laugh. Was Van der Ven gets the ball and he beat one of the United players. Then all the whole crowd is he going to go again? Is he doing it again?
And then he lost the ball.
and then he just passed it safely. Or he lost the ball, one of the two. And didn't quite happen. But I think it got to the point when you're expecting our centre-back to run the whole pitch is our best opportunity to get a goal, you're in a bit of trouble. But that made me laugh.
Yeah, I know exactly which moment you're talking
there was
about.
a bit of excitement in the crowd.
There was excitement here in the studio as well. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But look, the first half ends. I think Man United are in the lead, and they're good value for the lead. They deserve the lead at half time. And then Frank brings on Odegaard for Muani. Obviously, Muani goes off with the fractured jaw.
I really hope it wasn't just that took him off in terms of not Muani itself, but Odegaard had to come on. You know what I mean? We needed to make that change regardless.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying at half time, Odegaard has to come on at half time. He has to, and he did. And he looked brilliant when he came on, to be honest. He really did. And he really sprang into life in the latter stages of the second half. I mean, he took Amad Diallo to the cleaners when Amad went to right wing back. Because Sesko went up front, and they just couldn't handle him. They really couldn't. He was beating men. He was getting crosses in the box. There was obviously that shot where Richarlison headed it on into the goal. He was by far our best player come the end of the game. By far, there was no one that could come close to him.
Yeah, and he really came on and made a big impact. And what I liked about him is he seems so much more confident now. He's taking people on. I think it was for the equaliser. He I don't know who he took on, but he took on a player, and he's not scared of getting a bit close to him just in case he's going to get shuffled off the ball. He was able to get round him, ride the contact, and get out wide to a doggy. But even before that, what I liked about him is, for the chance for Romero, whipping it in early, not hesitating, getting a bit of space and getting a bit of quality into the box. And Romero unlucky not to score, and he was making things happen. He was especially when Diallo moved to wing back. All of a sudden. Odegaard really took the opportunity to go at him, and I think it made him feel even more confident than he was before. I think Odegaard is really starting to come into his own. Scored a goal in midweek, and looking a lot more confident. And I think he's growing and growing every game, and this was a brilliant cameo from him. What I would say is, in terms of just generally, Odegaard comes on. There was definitely an improvement for the next 10 minutes. We created that chance for Romero. We also had a free kick. Spence lobs it in, falls to Paulinho. He also makes a save from the ends. Then it did go quiet for quite a while, I would say. Up until
the next round of subs.
Yeah, up until we bring on a doggy. And I think one also crucial sub, that happened in our favour, is they brought on Sesko and put Diallo at wing back. And I think the Sesko coming on caused us trouble, but actually when Diallo went at wing back, all of a sudden there was an area in United's defence that we could really exploit, and that was quite crucial. I think a doggy coming on and just basically relentlessly attacking that left-hand side, and all of a sudden Diallo had a doggy on his outside. He didn't have anyone tracking him back from the forward line. I don't know who was on the right on the hand side. Maybe it was Cunha who was up front.
Yeah. It was Cunha and Buemo.
And Sesko. So Cunha wasn't tracking him. So he was basically getting there. And he had Odegaard to live with as well, who was causing all sorts of problems. And all of a sudden, there was like a key area down that left-hand side we were just exploiting. And obviously, that's where the goal came from. But I wouldn't necessarily... I did feel, I have to say, I did feel the goal did come out of nowhere a bit. Like, I didn't feel like a goal was coming when it did come. It kind of just like... We just found a moment. Brilliant play from Odegaard. The doggy crosses it in. And then Tell, who obviously came on for Xavi, gets equalised. But yeah, we haven't talked about that. Obviously, Xavi goes off, and there was very, very loud boos in the crowd. I think part of it is just before Xavi went off, he had this like 1-2 with Richarlison in and around the box. He gets the ball, does like a 1-2 with Richarlison on the edge of the area, and again he gets the ball and lacking options to kind of no space to really get the shot off. Not really too many options to like find a pass, and he ended up getting tackled. But you just saw, even with that 1-2, okay, a bit of sharpness, a bit of spark, trying to make something happen, and then literally a few seconds later, he gets taken off to loud boos within the crowd. A lot of people in the crowd were thinking, is this Frank's Nuno moment where he takes off Lucas for Bergwijn? I thought that was a bit much. I've seen a few reports saying, there's parallels. The thing is, I didn't think Xavi was having a great game. I don't think it was his fault. I actually did think he looked bright.
I thought he was having a very good game.
But he was having a good game in the sense that, like, he looked bright. It's not. I don't think it was necessarily his fault that maybe he wasn't having as good a game as he could have, if you know what I mean. Because he was doing okay when he got the ball, right? He would like beat a player and create some space.
He was doing as much as he could.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily his fault, but he couldn't really create anything, and he couldn't do much because of, I don't know, either the setup or the players around him weren't making the movements, or he wasn't really getting the ball in the dangerous areas. He was always picking the ball up very deep and way too far away from goal. And I don't know whose fault you can put that down to, but I wouldn't necessarily say Xavi was like, he was playing so well you can't take him off. But I think on the flip side, you could all see that potentially if something was going to happen, he might be at the heart of it, because if we can if United do start dropping deeper to defend their lead and they starts getting pockets of space in and around the penalty area, maybe that's the time for Xavi to start exploiting, right? So to him to be taken off at that point was very frustrating. I think Xavi himself, you could see, was quite frustrated. But you got to say, Frank, to credit to him, Tell comes on and he scores.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, Brian on the watch along was saying, "Why are you taking Xavi off? If anyone is going to do anything, it's going to come from him." But I wasn't too fussed about the substitute, to be honest. When it happened, I was just saying, "Look, Xavi's doing well, but he's been on for 80 minutes, and we've done nothing off the good work that he's done. So let's give someone else a go, and let's see if someone else can." Cause some hurt into the Manchester United team, and lo and behold, that's what happened. Tell with a brilliant goal. As much as it was a deflection, it was a kind of Jermaine Defoe-esque movement in the box, wasn't it? Like the way he touched it on and just banged it, and it rifles into the roof of the net.
I think the key to the goal is that first touch to create the separation, just to get a little bit of room for the shot. And that is what Tell, I've noticed, is very good at. Whatever you want to say about him, when he gets the ball, you saw it against Leeds as well, just a little touch to create that extra yard to get the shot off. Whereas when it's like Richarlison or some maybe other strike, maybe even Solanke in that position, how many times they would get their shot blocked or they wouldn't create that extra yard for one reason or another, whether their touch isn't that good or whatever. Tell is very good at just getting that extra yard to get the shot off, and he's got a good shot on him. Yes, it was deflected, and you could say both his goals this season have been deflections, but he's done very well just to create that little bit of room, and that's not as easy as it looks. So fair play to Tell. Inside the box as well, when it's congested, there's a lot of players around him, not much space to play in, and as well, it was up against De Ligt, who had a great game. I thought he was playing really well. So to get that extra yard against that centre-back like that and get the goal, all credit to him, making an impact. And also, obviously, what made the difference? A doggy stretching the play, getting to the byline and getting the cutback. It's not rocket science. That's what he can provide on the left-hand side. So credit to a doggy as well. Credit to Mathys Tel. And then that basically kicked off what was a crazy last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Can I speak now? Yeah, I mean, those last 10 minutes, you just couldn't catch your breath, could you? You just could not catch your breath. Like, goal. And how the hell do we not win that game, man? How the hell do we not win that game? Like, seriously. Like, you go 2-1 up on the 81st minute. It's an actual disgrace how we don't win that game. You have to hold on for 30 seconds. That corner at the end of the game, I'm sorry, but that was an absolute disgrace. I won't hear anything other than that. Like, why the hell? And I noticed this throughout the game as well with the zonal marking that we're doing at corners. Like, Brennan Johnson is on delict in every corner that we've conceded in the game. Like, how is that on? Like, seriously, Thomas Frank prides himself on his defending set pieces. We've got this set piece coach in there, and if you want to do this zonal marking, fair enough, but don't put Brennan Johnson, don't allow that to happen and persist throughout the game, and potentially, and especially not in a one that's gonna like hold the game out for us. Like, it just makes no sense at all. How is Brennan Johnson on delict every single time?
I've noticed in the corners it seems as though we've got like a bit of a hybrid system going on in corners. We've got like man marking and zonal, a bit of both. Some players are doing man marking, some players are doing zonal. And it seems as though Brennan Johnson's in the man marking camp and he's man marking Delict, which I don't really understand. He completely loses him. It's not even a case of him being beaten in the air. Delict, a bit of clever movement, made sure he made the run where there's a lot of players in between him and Johnson. Johnson basically runs into the player instead of keeping up with Delict, and obviously that's the goal.
Who makes a decision like that before a game saying, Brennan Johnson, you're on delict?
Well, it must be Frank, because
like, it's ridiculous, though. It's not ridiculous.
I agree. I wouldn't. He's not the player I'd have, but
why not have Mickey van der Ven on delict every time?
Because the defensive players are the ones in the zonal areas. It seems the defensive players in the zonal areas and the attacking players are the ones doing the man marking. I don't know. Take of that what you will. That's the plan at the moment. It seems
it's not sustainable. Like, fine, you can get a few corners that don't hit the man and don't hit Delict, but every time it goes to him, Brennan Johnson is not going to beat Delict in the air. It's just not going to happen. And he lost him on that occasion. Vicario's like behind his goal line or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just a shit show throughout. And Man United get the draw,
and against 10 men.
Yeah, I know.
How do they have a free header against 10 men?
Well, they do have the keeper in the box as well.
True, but still, like, we've got the extra man. They should never have a free header.
But that's how they made up for it, because they put the keeper up there. So
yeah,
they
we always
didn't.
have a keeper.
Yeah, it's true, but
10.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, the keeper took Sesko's pace.
I understand, but
so it's still the same. It's the same as what it would have been.
Yeah, I understand that, but we still have the extra man. So they should never have a free man in that situation. So that was ridiculous. But obviously, we didn't talk about the goal, but when it did come on the 92nd minute, Odegaard, gets that shot. Richarlison gets a little flick on it, and it heads in the back of the net. And there was absolute pandemonium in the stadium, I have to say.
Yeah,
like, everyone thought
pandemonium in here.
Everyone thought this was it. What like incredible turnaround! Like, this is. It would have been an absolute smash and grab if we would have won that game, to be honest. Not to say that.
I thought we deserved it.
I would say not to say that United was so good that it would have been ridiculous if we would have won. I think a draw was probably a fair result, to be honest.
I thought, like, in the build-up to us getting our first goal and the second goal, we were looking really threatening, really dangerous, probably more than Man United looked all game, to be honest. Like, as much as we weren't creating, like, consistent, clear-cut chances, I thought by the end of that game, we marginally did enough maybe to win it.
I thought, to be honest, I thought a goal wasn't coming before Tell's goal. It didn't look like we were going to score, and we did score a bit out of nowhere. But look, fair play, we create the goal, good goal. And then for me, it was more like we had an opportunity, because obviously they had that chance with Sesko. He goes 1-on-1. Brilliant tackle from Van der Ven.
Oh, yeah, that was a game-saving challenge.
Unbelievable tackle from Van der Ven. And that kind of, it seemed as though everything fell into place from that challenge, because Van der Ven makes the challenge when it could have been 2-1 to United. He then injures Sesko in the process. He has to go off, and they're down to 10 men. And then we go and score the winner against that 10 men. It gave us a bit of momentum and a bit of an opportunity, because we're playing 10 men at that point. So all of a sudden, it's like, okay, everything's fallen in our favour. We then get the winner through Richarlison. Well, I have to say, a lot of people I've heard say that Odegaard's shot was going in anyway. I don't think it was. I think Richarlison does turn it home. I think it's a really good instinctive header, and I think he deserves more credit for it. And
I don't know if he knew much about it, to be honest.
I think he did. You
Richarlison.
see, he flicks it in. He did know a lot about it. I think he did that on purpose.
I'm not sure.
Watch
I'm
it
not
back.
sure.
He did. You could see he moves his head. I think it's really clever play from him. I think he deserves a lot of credit for it. So fair play to Rishi. He got the goal.
Mikey Moore just scored for Rangers.
Ah, that's great news. More good news than Lancashire got a goal yesterday. Anyway, about another time.
I think that's more interesting,
Yeah,
to be honest.
probably. And then, yeah, as you say, they got the equaliser, which... Is it... Do you think they got the equaliser purely because Richarlison took his shirt off? Is that the reason? Because he seems to be cursed whenever he takes his shirt off.
It's an absolute curse,
someone's got to stop him. Someone's got to pull that shirt back down and say, no. Things always go wrong when you take your shirt off, Richie. And yeah, it's a weird... I had a very weird feeling after the game. I completely agree with you. When you're 2-1 up in the 92nd minute, when you scored the winner, essentially, or what we thought to be the winner, you can never, ever in a million years let that slip, especially when you got the extra man against 10 men. And as well, I felt, in that period, when we were 2-1 up, we were being stupid on the ball. I felt like all we had to do was keep the ball.
No, we were panicking.
Yeah, we were panicking. We were playing against 10 men. And there was one moment I remember specifically, Sarr gets the ball, he plays it to Bentancur, and he's like playing dangerous balls in between the lines. It's like, all he had to do was pass it back to the keeper and just keep possession for like a few minutes. We then ended up panicking. We somehow gave the Man United one possession. Tell then goes into a challenge with Bruno and doesn't come away with it. You should either be wiping him out or putting the ball out of play for a throw. He does neither. It's a weak challenge. Bruno then keeps the ball. They end up winning a corner out of the situation. They get the goal, but that was so avoidable. We didn't have to give away a corner. I was just as angry with how we dealt with being 2-1 up as I was with that corner as well. That the whole situation was avoidable, and obviously, yeah, the corner happened. What happened with the corner happened, but it's a weird feeling because for 70 odd minutes of that game, I would have taken a point because I didn't think we were going to get a point out of that game because we were losing for so long and it didn't feel like that goal was coming. Then to be in the lead on the 92nd minute and then give that up is like, oh, how did we not win?
That's football, isn't it? That's football.
So I guess at the end of the day, for me, I didn't feel like a point was unfair on Tottenham. I think a point was probably a fair result. I thought for parts, United were better. I thought for most of the second half, we were better, to be honest, and we were the better team.
I thought United were only significantly better than us in 20 minutes of the game.
There was yeah, but I felt as well in that second half they were keeping them at arm's length. They were defending quite comfortably for large parts of that second half. Apart maybe the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of that second half, we were creating stuff. But yeah. I thought for large parts of that second half.
But we also kept them at arm's length for the majority of the whole game.
Yeah, but they were. It's true, but they're 1-0 up, so they're more focused on defending. So I think I think United were very comfortable for large parts of that game. I would say.
Yeah, but so were we. So were we. We were also. Yeah, we were losing, but I mean. The 25 minutes, yeah, but I just genuinely thought we were the better footballing side on the day. Like, I know we weren't great. I'm not saying this was an unbelievable performance, but I thought it was just two poor sides going at each other yesterday.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's what it was. So I'd say a draw is probably a fair result.
I think, look, a draw wasn't not fair. It wasn't not fair. It wasn't an unfair result. I just felt by the end of it, we were slightly the better side of the two.
Maybe, yeah, probably. I think we were slightly the better side, but a draw was a fair result for me.
Yeah.
I think I didn't feel robbed that that was a draw in the end of the day. There was no booing at full time, so it seems though some of the fans were at least content with the fact that we saw some entertainment in the last few minutes. I would say, before the 85th minute, there was a lot of frustration, and if Tell obviously don't, well, look, we got the equaliser and what ifs and buts, but it was very Chelsea-esque probably before that Tell equaliser. It was better because at least we had some shots on target, but it wasn't a massive departure. I'd say it was a very poor game of football in general.
It wasn't like the Chelsea game. It was not like the Chelsea game. It was a lot better.
It was better. But
that Chelsea game was literally scraping the bottom barrel of performances that we've seen in recent years. Like, this was not that.
No, it was better. I agree, it was better than Chelsea even before that, but it wasn't put it this way, it wasn't impressive.
Yeah, I agree it wasn't impressive. No, 100% it wasn't impressive. But when you compare the two sides, I think if you look at the metrics, we had double the amount of shots on target, more possession on the day. Like, Chelsea, we could barely get a shot on goal.
No, I agree with that. It
Like, all you can ask is to move forward, and it's a forward step in terms of performance than it was in the last game.
I mean, I don't know if that's all you can ask.
It is at this stage. You know, you said you want more. You want to see more in the performance, and you saw more in the performance.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I'm yes.
You don't need to be happy about it, but
that's why obviously.
But you're feeling a lot happy after that game than you were after the Chelsea game.
Yes, but Chelsea was, as you say, a very low bar to contend with, and it's an improvement on the Chelsea game, no doubt. First of all, I don't think we're playing as good of opposition. So I think they've got to take that into account. But yes, it was better than the Chelsea game, 100%. And we were at least had intent to go forward. We were putting crosses in earlier. It wasn't always just go backwards. But we still had a big struggle, for large parts anyway, creating the chances. But look, to be fair, would I be saying all of this if De Ligt doesn't put that header in the last minute? Maybe not. Maybe I'll be obviously feeling a lot more positive. But I also can't sit here and say it was a great performance, because it wasn't.
No, it definitely wasn't a great performance. I agree with that.
And I would argue if we would have won, we probably would have a bit of luck as well to win that game. I just felt we didn't really deserve to win, but then we were unlucky not to win at the same time. So it's hard to really analyse that game in that sense. But it's just another poor. I would say it's just in general another poor home display. I would say. To be honest.
It's funny because it's another. It's not a great home display, but it's probably one of the best home displays that we've had this season.
You're right. As much as we weren't even great in that first half, it was probably a lot better than what we've played in a lot of other games.
Like, it was better than Bournemouth. It was better than Chelsea. It was better, most definitely better than the second half at Wolves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in terms of how home displays have gone this season, it was one of the best ones we've had.
Yeah, it's true.
It's probably better than Villarreal as well, where we won.
Better than Villarreal. You're right. You're not wrong there. I think that does say more about our home displays than it does about how good or bad we were yesterday. But yeah, still not a lot.
So it's a step in the right direction.
I guess, but it would just need more. Improvement.
Of course we need more.
Enough, is it enough of a step, I would say, from one of the worst displays we've seen when there were loud boos to what we saw yesterday. Look, I'm not saying Frank out. I'm just saying, like, I didn't come away impressed with what I saw. But credit to the team for battling and putting themselves in a position where they should have won the game. I also felt like, obviously, it's a massive missed opportunity because you've got those last 5 minutes against 10 men and you get the goal. And obviously, when you can't see that out, it's more of I think that's how I'm feeling. It's more of a missed opportunity than anything.
Yeah, it was a massive missed opportunity. You have to end that game with 3 points with the position we put ourselves in. And I think... yeah, it's just a bit of a disgrace how we let that slip. Just the 2 goals that we conceded were just so avoidable. Yeah. Both of them. That's the most frustrating thing about it. Like, just so avoidable. Like, the goals that we scored, I don't think were that avoidable from Matt. I just think it was good play from us, like the 2 goals that we scored.
Yeah.
But the ones that we conceded, and apart from the ones that we didn't really give up that many chances apart from the 2 goals.
2 goals, 2 shots on target, 2 goals.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So in that sense as well, we deserve to win the game. But it's just frustrating, like really poor defensive play from Tottenham Hotspur. But Frank's got to learn from it once again, and we got to move on and show a better display. But don't get any easier because we go to the Emirates next.
How do you feel about a North London derby off the back of the last... It's interesting, we had this obviously week of home games. We're saying, OK, we need to improve the home form. We've had a loss, a draw and a win.
Yeah.
All 3 results.
But it's like, obviously we had a really good display against Copenhagen. We had probably like the best and the worst displays that we've had this season in this week. Probably
a 1 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, and a 5 out of 6 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. So look, we go into the Emirates. They're going to coming into it in a wounded animal though, after the 2-2 draw at Sunderland yesterday. But they got 2 weeks to mull over it. International break. Let's hope we don't get any injuries on international break because we can't afford any injuries going into this.
Going to that game without Muani as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident going to North London derby in the state we are at the moment?
Not at all. But look, Arsenal actually looked good yesterday. Like in terms of an attacking force and them being able to create chances from open play, I think that was one of the best performances in the second half I've seen from them this season.
Yeah. I think they responded to go 1-0 down like really well, and I thought, okay, this could be a struggle for them because Sunderland are very good defensively, but they just found a way, didn't they? And with quality, you got to say, they found a way with quality to get back in that game.
But they couldn't hold on.
No,
They
which is
couldn't
very
hold
unlike
on.
Arsenal.
Yeah. But look, that is the match review. Spurs drew 2-2 with Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's move on to player ratings, and let's start off with Vicario. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. A bit disappointing with both goals that we conceded. I thought the first one, he just didn't move, and I just didn't understand why. The second one, I still don't think he's going to save it, but like his positioning is just completely all wrong for the corner. He's like standing behind his line, which I just didn't understand. And again, like I think on the ball he was just panicking in possession a bit and just hitting it really long and just battering it up the pitch, which I didn't really understand too much. So yeah, not the greatest display from Vic, but I don't put him as pure fault for any of the goals that we scored.
Yeah, I don't really think he should be saving both. But also, I don't think he comes away with much credit with either. So, and though the thing is, he didn't have another save to make other in the game. Those are the only saves he had to make. So, not a great day from him. But yeah, I'm not going to judge him too harshly. I think the goal, the second goal, probably looks more his fault than actually is his fault. But I agree. You know, why is he standing behind the line? It's a bit peculiar. And why is he not diving for the first goal? But I think, yeah, it's harsh to call either of them his fault.
Yeah. Pedro Porro up next. Falls all round for Pedro. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pedro at this moment in time. He had a really good display against Copenhagen, but sandwiched in between two really bad displays. And his crossing, his passing, his ball playing was completely off on the day. Me personally, I think he needs to come out of the team for a little bit, or at least a game or two. And for the North London derby, I would generally play Spence and a doggy at fullback. I just don't think he's playing well enough.
I think at the moment, Porro, it's like one good game, one bad game at the moment. He's quite a bit inconsistent. He's obviously the only consistent thing about him at the moment is he's available for every game and he's playing every game. But I think, yeah, I agree that he's not playing that well in some games and then he is playing well in the other games. It's like very up and down. But the thing is, he's playing so much. I agree with you. Like, he's playing way too much, really. Every game he plays, he barely gets a rest. And I think the North London derby could be a good game for him to get a rest because I think they're very physical and you add a bit of physicality with Spence in there with and a doggy, that could be the way forward. But then again, I don't know if he doesn't play 2 games for Spain, maybe he could come into it with a bit more of a rest, so it could be a better Porro. But yeah, he was sloppy. He had 12 crosses on the day and only one successful one. His passing just wasn't on it, and I think he was the key in that game to Frank's plan, and it just didn't work. I think that was a big reason why Frank's plan didn't work in that first half.
Cuti Romero up next. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Got that booking in the first half, and after that he actually made a few questionable challenges after that, and I was thinking, you know what, Romero needs to calm down here because he's going to get himself sent off. Luckily that didn't happen, and I think in the second half he towed the line pretty well and got himself back a level head. But in that first half it was actually a dangerous situation for him because he was you could see the fire kind of blazing over a little bit. But look, I thought he handled himself okay. I don't think it was as strong a performance that he has put in recent weeks, but yeah, look, Man United barely hurt us and he played well at the back, but I just felt like he was on borderline of getting sent off yesterday.
Yeah, he was definitely. Well, there was one moment he was on, as you say, it was on yellow. Then he comes like flying into a challenge, and oh my god, is he about to get sent off? But luckily, he didn't make that much contact with the player. There was definitely a moment where it looked like, okay, he needs to calm down, but he did. And I think overall, he had a pretty decent game. I think on the ball, he had so much value. Some of his passing in between the lines was phenomenal. Unlucky not to score on the day as well with a good attempt with a back heel. I think, yeah, he just makes such a difference when he's on the pitch.
Mickey van der Ven up next. 7s all round for Mickey. There was good and bad, mostly good in there from Mickey. I thought defensively, I thought he handled himself pretty well. The one thing, he kept trying to dribble it out from the back, and obviously we saw the goal on midweek, but he did lose the ball on a few occasions, and one of them was quite dangerous. But he made that basically game-saving challenge on Sesko, didn't he? I mean, that was Ledley King-esque on Arjen Robben. Literally came out of nowhere and won the ball so cleanly. If he gets that wrong, that's a penalty, and probably he's getting sent off as well. So, unbelievable challenge from Mickey.
Yeah, phenomenal. And it looked like, as you said, that was a game-winning moment. Everything fell into place, it seemed, at that moment for Tottenham. But didn't quite happen for us in the end. Threatened to potentially go on some long runs, but also didn't quite pan out in the same way it did against Copenhagen. But another really strong game from him. I felt overall it was really, really good.
Yeah, Jed Spence up next. Fives all round for Jed. I think when he's on the left, I think it's becoming so clear that he just hurts us more than he helps us on the left-hand side when he's going forward. There was so many occasions when he gets into a good position and just checks back and the moves kind of died down by then. I thought he was a lot better when he moved over to the right-hand side from that aspect. He was able to get to the byline, get some crosses in, genuinely look dangerous and a threat going forward. I just feel like there's this thing starting to creep into Jed Spence's game. I think it's been happening for a while now, where he's just making these stupid decisions from a defensive standpoint, and it's getting us into trouble with just like lazy kicks out, and it's just going straight to the opposition.
Yeah, and also the first goal, could he have done a bit better to close Diallo down? He seemed to just like wave a lazy leg at it instead of actually like going towards him. So yeah, I agree with you. I feel like sometimes with Jed, because he's like so confident in himself to defend situations, he doesn't think about them. He just relies on his physical capabilities. Because he's so physical, it's good enough for most situations not to think about just, hold up a player, go at them and make the tackle. But sometimes he has to use his head a bit more, and that gets him in trouble. But I think the main reason I've given him a 5 is I agree with you. Just going forward, it really hampers us. I mean, a doggy within, I think, 30 seconds of being on the pitch got into the box and got a cutback and won a corner. Like, Spence didn't do that once the whole time he's on the left-hand side. And I don't know if at this point I even blame Spence for that anymore, because I think Frank must see that and he keeps playing him there. But the thing is, I also feel for Frank, because like, what's he supposed to do? A doggy can't play every minute of every game. He's also got, especially when we know he's an injury-prone player.
But the reality is, Frank said, like, as you said after the game, it was a tactical thing to play Spence there and not a doggy. So.
It's true. No, I agree with you. But as well, he's got to play Spence at some point, like at left back.
Yeah, but Spence has been playing every game at left back. Like, put a doggy in when, like, this was the first game for a while he could have started.
Yeah, I think. Well, he started on midweek, didn't he? And he's just come back from this knee problem. You got to be careful with him, as well. So, look, if it is, you're right. Frank said it was tactical, so I got to take him on his word for it, and that's obviously disappointing. But I just, in general, he has to play Spence there at some point, and we just know Spence does hurt our width when he's there. So I think we need to really invest. That's maybe one area we need to really invest in January left back.
Yeah. João Palhinha up next, 6s all round for João. Look, I mean, he keeps up his standards in terms of helping us in the midfield, win the ball back. I don't think he didn't have as much bite in his challenges this game than he has done in previous weeks. And it's just, it's a bit frustrating when you just see João Palhinha, not much intention to play the ball forward, albeit there were a couple of nice moments on the ball from João, and he had a nice shot in the second half, but it's just too few and far between in the game, and it's too much sideways and backwards.
Yeah, agreed. I think Bentancur obviously did a much better job getting the ball and progressing it forward. On Wednesday, he obviously came out the side, and João, look, we know what João gives you, and he always gives that 100%, that off the ball feistiness. But on the ball, it's difficult. And when you've got someone like Sarr next to you, who yes is a good forward, he can be a good forward-thinking player, but he's also not much of a passer. He's also a bit of a carrier. It led to Tottenham not really able to progress the ball from a passing point of view through the centre. So that was frustrating at times.
Pape Sarr, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. I got frustrated. Was it Sarr, wasn't it, that just smashed the ball into one of our centre-backs or something for one of the goals or a chance that Man United had? And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? But I don't know what's going on with Sarr. But I seem to be saying the same things every week, where he just ghosts out of games and then he just comes into it a bit in the second half. And I think it was more of the same, really.
Yeah. I think it was a quiet game for him. I think he put himself about quite a bit, but I don't remember too much of him being able to progress the ball forwards. He had a few kind of moments getting near the box, but yeah, I think it was a fairly quiet game for him at the end of the day.
Yeah. Javi Simmons, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I liked what I saw from Javi, to be honest. I thought he was forward thinking. He was finding himself in good opportunities and good spaces. If anything was going to come from our good play, from open play, it was going to come through him. It was just unfortunate that none of the other players were on a similar wavelength to him, to be honest. The amount of times he found himself in space and he just had no one, no support, no one to pass to was just so frustrating on the day. But he did look like our most creative outlet on the day.
Yeah, and I think, I think his struggles are not necessarily down to him. I think that's a big point of it at the moment. He's picking up the ball, and he's picking up the ball in areas not near anyone else. And I think you've seen points yesterday. He's starting a counter-attack. He's bursting into space, and there's not a Tottenham player within 30 yards of him. How are you supposed to create anything? There's no one near you. It must be so frustrating for him. So I think he had a really good game within himself. Like he was doing stuff, but I think he was prevented from the team of really doing much, and he was prevented from creating anything. I think he had a bright game and ended up obviously leading to him being taken off, and there was a lot of boos. But yeah, it's must be so frustrating for Xavi at the moment. He's trying to do stuff, but he's being prevented of actually, doing what he wants to, which is probably score and create goals.
Next up is Brennan Johnson. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought the opening 20 minutes from Brennan, he looked really positive, and he was getting on the ball a lot. He was getting crossed in the box. Obviously, that one for Richarlison, where Richarlison's got to make some contact with it. He doesn't. I thought he was a nuisance for Man U in those first 20 minutes, but apart from that, he didn't really produce much, to be honest.
Yeah, there was that one moment where he threatened to burst inside, and he just overcooked the touch a bit much, went out for a goal. I was like, okay, that's good from Brendan. I want to see him trying those things. Rely on your speed. You're a fast player. You're quite physical as well. You can shrug off challenges if need be. So I want to see him do that. But he, again, it's too few and far between. I think Brendan is improving. I think he's going from me regularly giving him 3s and 4s to now 5s and 6s. So that's better. He's getting more involved, but. Again, how many times did he have crosses in and it went out for a goal kick? It happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he did have a good cross in for Rishi, who should have done better with a chance right at the beginning of the game. So he had one good cross, but is he enough of a threat to say, oh, he played really well? No, wasn't, unfortunately.
Next up is Richarlison. 5s all round for Rishi, and I just felt so frustrated watching him yesterday, and I have been feeling like that pretty much for all of his performances since the first 3 games of the season, and he just doesn't offer much. He was on the left sometimes, he was through the middle sometimes, and every time the move just seemed to break down every time the ball came to him. But look, credit to him, because he was there and he made the difference when it counted to put Spurs 2-1 up. The little kind of slight touch which guided the ball into the back of the net, which you've got to give him credit for. But he's just not playing well at this moment in time, and we need more.
Yeah, look, he did get the goal, so it's rare I give a player who scores with what looked like to be a winner, and he's only getting a 5. But he was really frustrating, especially when he was on the left. He was really poor. Didn't really impact the game. I know what Frank's idea was: get him in the box, get some crosses into the back post, and nearly worked right at the beginning of the game. But unfortunately, that was really the only time it nearly worked. Other than that, it was few and far between. I think obviously moved up front in the second half, and he was pretty much a non-event, was quite anonymous, didn't really get involved in the game much. But good predatory instincts, good goal from him. And to be fair to him, 6 goal contributions and 6 starts. Mm-hmm. So from that point of view, you could say it's not a bad ratio, but we all have eyes. We can see how he's performing, and right now he's not performing very well, and he's cuts a very, very frustrating figure. But he's getting goals, I guess, ish.
Muani up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Obviously only lasted 45 minutes. As it's come to light today, he did fracture his jaw with that head clash with Harry Maguire. I just thought he was pretty much non-existent throughout the first 45 minutes. And I do feel for him a little bit, because he did play quite a significant part of that first half with a fractured jaw, which obviously we didn't know until today. So that might have had a reason to it. There was a couple of moments where, he was pressing from the front and he looked energetic, but that's about as far as it went.
Yeah. I think, what minute was the jaw thing?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was like halfway through, or maybe he played at least 15 minutes with the...
Yeah, he was quite quiet, I think, even before that. But there was one moment he linked up with Brennan, didn't he, quite early on. But other than that, he didn't really get involved in the game. He was quite quiet. And then obviously, I don't really blame him if he's playing with a fractured jaw. It must be very difficult. So.
Yeah, but in the first 20 minutes, I thought at times we were pressing really well, and I thought he was like quite central to that.
Yeah, he looked quite bright, for moments, but didn't really do much.
No. And now we move on to the substitutes. Wilson Odebear, man of the match. He gets an 8 all round, and I thought this was his best display in a Spurs shirt. Looks so threatening, so dangerous. Amad Diallo couldn't handle him when he went over to right wing back. Got the assist, obviously, for Richarlison's goal with the shot and then Richarlison nodded it in, and he was very central to the goal that we scored to level it up as well. Really nice play to find a doggy on the left-hand side, which obviously he crossed it in, and Matisse Tel scored. So I thought every time he got the ball, he looked really dangerous. There was a bit of a lull period in the game where, for about 15, 20 minutes, we didn't really see him much, but whenever he was asked to get on the ball and attack his fullback, I thought he did it, and he did it really well.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Odebear. So good to see him in like a big Premier League game against good opposition. Come on, like looking to change the game and looking to make an impact. And I feel like too often in his Tottenham career, maybe it's because he's young and maybe because he's still learning. He's at a big club. He's kind of like felt like he's not the main man, and he felt like it's not his job to make the impact. That's for other people. He's there to look bright. But I felt like in this game he came on like, I'm actually gonna make the impact here. I'm going to take people on. I'm going to be the one creating chances. And great to see. And he was the main man, yeah. And he was beating players. It was almost like we started to look to him at points. It was like, okay, we get the ball to a dog, and he's creating at the moment. Brilliant involvement in the first goal to shrug off the United player, beat him, get out wide to a dog in. Look, great strike. And I don't think it was going in, but it was a great strike for the second goal as well. Like to get it off when there's a defender closing you down, and obviously Richarlison gets the nod in. Brilliant moment again, and really made a massive impact. And just looked so much more confident. He's looking sharper, looking stronger. I'm really, really happy for him, and it was a great. It was really, really great a cameo from him second half.
Destiny Udogie, 7s all round for him. I thought he made a real positive impact when he came on as well. Just adds so much more than Jed Spence down that left-hand side. He stretches the play. He gets down that left-hand side. He gets the byline. He gets crosses in the box. Obviously, that's how the first goal comes. And yeah, he just makes us look so much more balanced when he's out on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's just always there on the left-hand side. I was watching Spence quite closely, and I could really see that when Richarlison gets the ball, there's just a hesitancy from Spence to just go full pelt into that space that's vacated on the left-hand side. And I wonder it's because, even if he gets there, he's like not comfortable on his left foot and he doesn't want to swing it in, and he always have to cut in. Whereas Udogie, there is just no hesitation. Once Odebear's got the ball, he is going full pelt to overlap him and cover that space, and that makes such a big difference. It causes so much more unpredictability in the front line, and it makes us so much more balanced and so much more width on that side. And lo and behold, he got the assist for the equaliser as well, getting in that position and getting the cutback. So within a minute, I think, of him coming on, you could see the difference. So brilliant stuff from him.
Rodrigo Bentancur, 6s all round for Lolo. And straight away when he came on, you saw he got the ball and made a forward pass, and it kind of cut through the Manchester United midfield. I thought he looked a lot more forward thinking. He didn't do much in the game, and that's about it. But he just looks a bit more comfortable there than João Palhinha in terms of when Spurs want to play it forward.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I think our midfield does look better when Bentancur's there, to be fair. And I think he came on, and I did think that was probably one of our better spells of the game once he entered the pitch. So I do think we look a bit better with him. I'm not saying he did anything specifically incredible, but I just think he's so much more comfortable on the ball. He looks to play forward a lot better. So yeah, I think it was a decent cameo from him.
Matisse Tel, 7s all round for Matisse. Look, you've got to give the boy credit because, he got left out the Champions League squad. He's been out in the cold a little bit recently. He comes on with a really good attitude about him. He gets himself in the box. He creates space for himself in the box, and he puts the ball in the back of the net. Yes, it was a deflection, but don't take anything away from the move, because I thought it was absolutely brilliant from Matisse Tel. And he's just a bit of a live wire with his movement off the ball, which I noticed quite a lot. So I think Matty's tail is going in the right direction, and he needs to keep doing the things that he's doing.
Yeah, and I thought as well when he came on, some of his pressing off the ball was quite good as well. And he added a bit more energy to the front line and when we were kind of wavering at that point. Added a bit of, obviously, presence in the box. And I think the goal, you got to give him a lot of credit because that is very difficult to do. You know, ball cuts back and he's got Matthias de Ligt behind him. And he's got to basically get that touch, get a bit of space and swivel and shoot and score. That is not easy to do in a packed penalty box, but that is something Matty is very good at. Creating a bit of separation to get the shot, and he's got a good strike on him. So yes, it was a deflection. I think it might have been going in anyway, but we'll never know. And he got a bit of luck, but you earn your own luck, which he did. So credit to him, and really good cameo from him, and hopefully that continues to boost his confidence.
Thomas Frank up next. 6 all round for Thomas Frank. For me, got the team selection wrong. Udogie should have played at left back. Odebear should have played at left wing, and I thought, you know, it culminated in us being really poor down that left-hand side with Richarlison, with Spence, where we had massive problems. He did correct it in the second half with Odebear coming on at half-time, Udogie coming on about 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the second half, which made us look a lot more better, a lot more threatening down that side. And I felt like we started the game with a lot better energy about us. We started to look forward a lot more, and we looked nowhere near as blunt as we looked in that Chelsea game. Look, it was not a great game, but any stretch in the imagination, it's a step forward, and he corrected his mistakes. And I just don't understand why he had to make that mistake in terms of the starting lineup, though. It just didn't make sense to me. But look, we should have won the game, in my opinion. I thought we were slightly the better team. When you go 2-1 up as well in the 91st minute, you just cannot let that slip. And I think he's got to look at the way we're defending set pieces, because there's no situation where Brennan Johnson should be on Matthias de Ligt. And it wasn't just for the goal that happened at the end. That was happening throughout the game in every defensive set piece. So he's got to look at that. He's got to look at why Odebear didn't start, why Udogie didn't start, and he needs to correct it, and he needs to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's a difficult one how to judge him, because, like, do you criticise him for getting the wrong lineup? But when it comes to his changes, is it about you give him credit for making changes that change the game? Udogie comes on, gets an assist. Tel comes on, gets a goal. Odebear comes on, gets an assist and involved in the first goal. So on the face of it, his subs change the games. He gets credit. But on the flip side, do you criticise him for having the wrong lineup in the first place and having to change it? So
I think it's a bit of both.
You can kind of look at it both ways. It's like he gets credit for changing it, but also gets criticism for having the wrong lineup in the first place. But I think you got to say, I thought in general the way he managed the game was pretty good. I thought obviously the changes came on and did affect the game and could have put us in a position to win the game. So that's really, really positive. But as you say, I thought the way we saw it out before the corner was terrible, and and obviously the way we defend that corner really frustrating. So yeah, a bit of a mix for Thomas Frank on the day.
Yeah. All right, well, that is our player ratings for the 2-2 draw against Manchester United. Now it's time for us to see how the internet did react to the game. And Mikey Moore, 2 goals today so far for Rangers, and I think it's only half-time. So he's on for a hat-trick. Let's see if he gets it. This was, I think, the first goal that he scored, Mikey Moore. So big up to Mikey. He is cooking out in Scotland right now.
Incredible, and I think it's really changed since the change of manager. Yeah. He's really upped his game, and I don't know if he's found a new position for him, but he seems like he's got a whole new lease of life now. So that's really great.
Absolutely. And, we were all getting frustrated when we were seeing him under the old manager, Russell Martin. And now Danny Role's come in, and it has made the world of difference for him. So big up to Mikey. Jersey's shirt says, Javi has been shit, they say. Look at what he's got to work with. And this is what we were saying.
Yeah, I think that is not only is that moment like indicative of what we've been talking about, but also when he gets the ball, and it's a bit more settled possession, there's still no one around him. There's still no one to play off. It's very frustrating, I think. And for all the criticism Xavi gets for not getting enough more goals and assists, I think you can see here what the problems are, and I don't necessarily think it's him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. He needs so much more support, and I just don't understand what's the plan. What's the plan when we go forward and Xavi's bursting through the middle? Are we just banking on him to individually take it round everyone?
Exactly. He's got 5 players around him there. What is he supposed to do? He's not got anyone near him.
Yeah.
He needs support.
Yeah. World Classe says, more worrying that we have Brennan on De Ligt on corners. 100%. That's what I've been saying. Like, and again, it wasn't just this corner. It was happening throughout the whole game. It just made no sense. Like, one of their biggest threats against like one of our weakest aerial ability.
And the thing is, he was tracking him, and then he made this dart to the far post, and Brennan just lost him at that point. He got there, and as you can see, there's a sea of bodies there. And he put it on the back post. It was actually coordinated. They planned for this. You could see that the way they were moving. And you got to say it's a clever bit of movement. But yeah, Brennan lost his man, and it's frustrating. I don't know why. Why is it Brennan on? Because I'm trying to look, because they've got the attacking players as man marking and the defensive players a bit more zonal around the 6-yard box. So that is the plan. I don't know if that's going to change just based off this goal, but maybe it will.
It should. It really should. Opta Analyst says, despite drawing at Sunderland yesterday, Arsenal still win the Premier League title in 65.7% of the Opta supercomputer's current simulation. Why are we liking this?
It wasn't about Arsenal why I'm liking it. I'm looking at what Opta sees Tottenham. That's what I was more interested in. And if you look at it, the highest percentage point they see us is in 10th place.
Well, I've never been a stats man anyway.
To be fair, the Opta supercomputer is not exactly the most reliable thing. It changes a lot week to week. But saying we're more likely to finish 10th place than anywhere else at the moment.
Yeah, they can do one. Paddy Power, even Tottenham's advertising hoardings are taking the piss. Is that what they had? It's classic Tottenham.
Oh, bloody Paddy. Was it Paddy Power? Oh, no, Paddy. It wasn't Paddy. It was... Who is that? I don't know who it is, but... Ugh.
Looks like a Lucozade advert or something.
Might well be Lucozade. Well, classic Tottenham.
Billy T saying that sub, so obviously talking about the Jabby Simmons sub. I mean, I just don't really draw too many comparisons for it. The only comparisons that you take from it is that there were loud boos.
Yeah, I think that's
and the loud boos were kind of like over the top anyway.
And like also...
The loud boos for that were not over the top.
No. And also, Tell came on and scored.
Yeah.
So, can't really criticise Frank for the sub when it worked.
Yeah. Chef Sarpreem saying, these boys saved us today. I love they've got a celebration with each other, Telenoda Bear, and they finally came out yesterday.
A little bit of Son and Boanga about it. I like it.
Football on TNT saying, James Maddison and Andrew Ginge went through it.
Angry Ginge.
What did I say?
Andrew Ginge.
Through it during a dramatic set last 15 minutes between Tottenham and Man United. Yeah, I mean, why is this even happening?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't like it.
Maddison doing,
I don't like it at all.
Kind of a goal can with Angry Ginge.
I don't like it at all because, like, they're sitting there in what's supposed to be a home end of the stadium, and Angry Ginge is at the last minute when Man United are scoring the second goal. Like, him and his mate there are just like celebrating massively, and it doesn't sit right with me. And as well, on a day where there was massive problems as well, I don't know if you saw it, but there was massive problems with Man United fans in the home end. And apparently, I haven't seen it, but some people were saying it's gone as far to say as that when Spurs scored the 2-1 goal, there was loads of people just not even celebrating.
Yeah, remember when they went 2-2, there apparently was quite a few people. I didn't see it myself, but that's why I've heard reports of it, which is crazy to think about when you think the whole point of all the ticket stuff they've implemented is to stop this, and it still hasn't stopped it. They've still got away fans in the home end, which is ridiculous. For me, it's not so much about that element. It's just more about... Look, I don't know if I have much of a problem with it. I'm guessing this is for Maddison's YouTube channel. I'm guessing he's doing a thing. Maybe for both of them.
For him or for Angry Gingers, I don't know.
I don't think Maddison would just do it just for Angry Ginger. I think he would have done it for himself. Maybe.
It's probably both.
You're probably right, actually, because you know what? He's trying to grow his YouTube, and no better way to do it than go on Angry Ginger, to be fair. But I don't know. And it influence, like, if I would prefer he did it with a United player than an influencer, I guess. That's the only thing I would say. But yeah,
he's a bloody Premier League footballer. What's he doing?
He's a current player.
He's a current player. He's in the leadership group of Tottenham Hotspur. Why is he making content with Angry Ginge, who's a Man United fan, during a Spurs Man United? it's not right.
Angry Ginge said he was making excuses during the game, saying, "Oh, we're missing me, we're missing Kolo Kulusevski, we're missing Solanke."
Which is true. We are.
It's true, but like, do you like to hear that from a current player? Excuses like that?
I mean, Maddison, of course, he's going to say something like that because he's dying to be on the pitch and he thinks he can make an impact.
No, I agree, but he also should have belief that the current team should be good enough to win instead of making excuses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I bet he wasn't. When we were 2-1 up, he was like, "I told you we were going to win."
Yeah, you can see that.
I'm sure he had belief that Spurs were going to win the game.
It just seems a bit weird him doing like a kind of.
I don't like it, to be honest. I really don't like it. And look, I commend Maddison because he shows a lot of leadership ability, you know, with his posts on social media and stuff after every game and bigging up all the players and in the video that we've seen him around the training ground and everything like that. But stuff like that, nah, not for me, man. Stokey G says, has Richarlison ever scored a last-minute winner that has actually turned out to be a last-minute winner? I don't think he has.
I don't think he has, you know. I'm trying to think. Has he... I'm trying to think if he's ever scored just a last-minute winner, like ever. Which is... I mean, he scored a late win against Marseille, I remember. But, yeah, I don't think so. It's always turned out wrong for him.
It's a curse.
Oh, wow.
Absolute curse. Hashtag Richarlison out says, what more do I need to say about this guy?
This is Brennan, one of his famous crosses. Yeah, well, that wasn't great.
Yeah, why doesn't he show the brilliant cross that he put in on his left peg?
Because it doesn't suit his narrative.
Bleacher Report says, images that precede unfortunate events.
Richarlison is shirt coated in dirt after taking it off.
Yeah.
And so what? Is this the fourth time he's taken off his shirt?
Yeah, because there was Liverpool, there was this one, and there was another one. Can't remember what the other one was.
There was one against, I think, Fulham. He took off his shirt because he scored his first goal, and then he got ruled out from VAR.
Oh, I see.
So it always seems to go... I think there was another one. I think he took off his shirt again and got ruled out from VAR.
Well, when he was looking for his first Spurs goal, didn't it happen like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, it happened a couple of times, I think. So
Yeah.
it's a bit ridiculous at this point.
Just stop taking off your shirt,
Someone's got to
man.
tell him, stop.
Premier League saying you cannot escape Mickey van der Ven. This was one of the challenges of the season. Look at that. The afterburner's on. Sesko's got no chance. And like, Sesko doesn't even do much wrong here.
Yeah, it is a bit of a poor touch, but you know what? If it wasn't Mickey van der Ven, he probably gets away with it. But because it's Mickey, it's incredible.
Football on TNT saying Spurs have put their Europa League trophy on display for the clash against Manchester United after defeating them in the final of the competition last time they played. I mean, look, Football TNT can make it out like they just put it there for the Man United game, but it's there every game.
We're displaying it because Man United are coming into town. You want to see this?
Yeah, it's literally there every single game. And I'm sure
But is it there by itself like that? Isn't it amongst the other trophies?
But that picture is like a snapshot. Like, you can't see anything wider than that.
Yeah, it's not in the cabinet, is it?
It's not in the cabinet. It's always like that.
Okay.
WH Fan Place says, if one of our injured players was watching our game with some Z-list YouTuber who supported the opposition, I'd be fuming. James Maddison has always been someone who prefers celebrity over playing football, and this just proves it. Get in the bin.
I think that's maybe a bit over the top.
He shouldn't be doing it. That's just the reality. Like, however over the top you think that tweet might be, and yeah, fine, like, get in the bin. Obviously, I would never say that to James Maddison because I'm just dying for him to be back and he'll make a big difference. But it's not something one of the guys specifically in the leadership group should be doing.
Why does it matter if he's in the leadership group?
Because he's supposed to be setting an example for everyone.
What's a bad example you're saying?
He's making content with a Man United fan who's celebrating in a home end. Like, why would you do that?
This is like 2025 we're talking about.
Okay, name me one other player that's done this.
One other player that's done this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's 2025. Why is it not happening all the time?
But why does it matter? Why does it matter if anyone else has done it or not?
Because it's just not a good look for him.
Why?
Because he's making content with a Man U fan during Spurs
why is that
Man U.
bad?
Because it's just not what should be happening. Like, he should be focused on the game.
That's not a reason. That's just your opinion of it shouldn't be happening. But why shouldn't it be happening? Why does it matter? He's injured. He's probably being paid by TNT or whatever to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
he doesn't need to be paid by TNT to do this. He's got enough money. Like, just focus on the team. And
well, he's injured. He can't. He's not doing it unless you say he should be sitting on the bench. Maybe he should be, but like.
All other injured players all sit on the bench, so why is not he?
He does have most games.
So why is he not for this? Why not?
Because they're doing
he's too focused on his celebrity status and making content with Angry Ginge.
For this one game.
Yeah.
Out of all the other games.
Okay.
So why does it matter for one game? Why is it such a big deal?
Why should he be doing it? Give me one good reason why he should be doing this.
Because he wants to.
Yeah, but what good can come from it? Like, why?
He makes good content. If
we lose the game, he opens himself up to be ridiculed. And
okay, that's just the fact of life. So what?
But he shouldn't be doing it.
Content. So what? He's making content for his channel. It's good for some people. Most people like it.
So you like it?
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just don't see
why
a
don't you
massive problem
like
with
it?
Huh?
Why don't you like it?
Because I think he should maybe be doing it with another Premier League footballer, maybe an ex-United player or stuff. Because that's more my kind of thing. Him doing it with another influencer. But I don't have a massive problem with it. It's just not my thing. But I don't think he's wrong for doing it.
I think like once he's retired and he's an ex-pro and like it's fine for him to do stuff like that. But if he's on the staff at Tottenham Hotspur, if he's a player at Tottenham Hotspur, I don't think it's something that he should be doing. He should be focused on better things than that.
It's during the game. Why does it take his focus away from anything?
He's literally doing content with a Manchester United YouTuber. Like, what is the point?
Just for content. He wants to make some content. He's injured. Can't play. So what's the harm?
It doesn't look good to me.
Fair enough.
Like, what would you say if he did that in a North London derby?
What, with like Robbie or something?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Oh, come off it,
What?
man.
I wouldn't have a problem.
That is bullshit. You wouldn't have a
What?
problem if Robbie's celebrating an Arsenal last minute equaliser.
Obviously, I wouldn't like it if I'm not going to sit here and say yes. I'd love Robbie laughing in his face when he's celebrating a last minute goal. I'm not saying I would like that situation. I'm saying I don't really have a problem with him doing something like that in general. I don't have a problem with it. Well, why should I have a problem with it?
And like, why is Angry Ginger even allowed to celebrate like that in a home end?
Well, I'm guessing it's a corporate thing. There's probably loads of Man United fans in corporate sections.
Yeah, but are all the Man United fans in corporate sections allowed to celebrate that like he's celebrating there? And putting a camera in James Maddison's face and all this kind of stuff, like, I don't know. It's not a good look. It's not something I like.
Again, it's not really my, like, I don't like seeing Angry Ginge celebrating in Maddison's face, but there's a flip side. Obviously, when you see Maddison celebrating in Angry Ginge, it's great. I've got a smile on my face. I enjoy watching that. Obviously, it didn't go our way, but in general, like, Maddison doing this, I don't have a massive problem with it. I don't think it does any harm, really.
Fair enough. The touchline says Richarlison, after the 2-2, he realised he just removed the shirt for nothing.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of posts like that. Rishi.
Next one is Bro Recreated. So bloody we got memed all over the internet as well.
Absolutely. Oh, Rishi.
Opta analyst saying Tottenham 2, Man United 2, 3 goals in 12 frenzied minutes, and the game ends 2-2. How on earth did we see 4 goals in that game?
Yeah, I know. It seemed because it was such a dead game before Tell scored. Like, didn't look like there was going to be any goals really. And then somehow just with an explosion. But yeah, I mean, as you can see with the XG timeline, not much. There's really not that much in it between both teams.
Yeah. Thomas Frank getting done with one of his own routes to goal, the overload at the back post.
Yeah, snapshot there you can see. Look, you can see Mbeumo's one who scores with Dorgu at the back post there. It's also completely free. Brennan's kind of getting there too late. But they've got all these players on the edge of the area not doing anything. You've got, there's an overload. Spencer's kind of thrown. Why are they both, like, Richarlison's just putting his arm behind his back and not getting near. Spencer's throwing out a lazy leg. One of you has got to get close. If there's 2 of you there, there's no point both of you holding back. One of you go and then one of you hold back and he dribbles.
100%.
Like, I don't understand this. Why are they defending like that? And then Porro, I understand Porro's got a decision to make, but in fact, because Brennan's not even back in position, he's actually got 3 men there. Bruno's free. And then I know Mbeumo's one he's actually marking, he scores. But Mbeumo's there and Dorgu, like, don't understand it.
Out of context, Tottenham saying Tell's goal against Manchester United. For me, there was just something very Jermaine Defoe about this goal.
Yeah, just a quick snapshot, isn't it? Sharp. It was good.
Chris Cowlin saying 2 huge positives on Saturday, Matisse Tell and Wilson Odebear.
And to be fair, and just as well on that, first, like, I have to say, like, for the last couple of games, that's been a big positive in the fact that Odebear scored, Johnson has scored, Tell has scored, Richarlison has scored, Xavi and Muani have both got assists. So in the last 2 games, our attacking players are starting to get some goal contributions now, which has been a big problem for us.
Yeah, exactly, 100%, and a much welcome kind of turn of events. Like, I think for me, like, Odebear's just got to start every game now.
So all our attackers have had a goal contribution in the last 2 games.
Yeah, apart from even Muani, they have.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Rishi missing that penalty, Scarlett even might have had a goal contribution.
No context, Tottenham, just Pedro Porro, not looking too happy to say the least.
Happy, wasn't he? Got a big frown on his face.
Yeah. No context, Tottenham again, Richarlison.
Yeah, look at Sarr.
With his
Sarr basically tried to do like a belly flops, like a Klinsmann kind of dive, and just got it all wrong. It's so funny. Look at him. It's like he's passed out or something.
Most chances created yesterday: Odebear 3, Doggy 2, and Ahmad 2. So it's mad, that, isn't it? Like, they played the least amount of minutes out of all the starting players. They came on. Odebear comes on at half time. Doggy comes on like 55th minute or whatever it was, and they've created 5 chances between them.
Yeah, they're our biggest threats. Madness, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. That is it. That is the way the internet did react to the game, people. We'll see you all tomorrow. That is all we have for you today. International break is upon us now. We've got a couple of super chats, have we? One super chat from Ni Amon Nikoi saying, "Stop the double standards for Xavi. When Kudus has no one around him, you guys criticise Kudus, saying he's doing too much, when in reality he has no one."
I don't think I've
criticised as much Kudus this season.
No, I have criticised Kudus at some points, but the reason I criticised Kudus is because he does have options and he ignores them to dribble more. I don't think it's a massive problem of his, but it is a problem that he does,
overplays it a bit too much.
Overplays it. Whereas Xavi, his problem isn't doing too much. His problem is he's doing his job and he's getting no help. Whereas Kudus, to be fair, look, I understand what he's saying, because sometimes I think he's saying like Kudus sometimes has to beat 5 players because there's no one around him. And fair, sometimes that is a problem that we need to fix as a team. But sometimes he will beat a player and then there's options for him to quickly play a pass and more efficient. And then he goes for more dribbling. It's like, okay, so you got to pick a better option sometimes.
All right. Well, there you have it, people. We'll see you.
There's also a good point. Josh King just quickly points out to me, Muani. He's saying, if there's a long-term injury, do you reckon we could add Tell into the Champions League squad? Do you reckon we would?
Well, it needs to be a 3 months injury, doesn't it?
No, 1 month.
1 month injury?
I think it needs to be 4 weeks. I can't remember now. Was it 3 months? Maybe you're right. I have to look into it. Maybe that's something.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
But was it any position or was it a goalkeeper only?
No, it's
all positions.
Also, all positions, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it is 1 month, then of course they'll do it. But if it's 3 months, then, I mean, it'll be unlikely. We get an injury for 3 months.
No, yeah. I have to look into that. Interesting. Maybe Tell could be back in the squad.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously they'll definitely do it if we've got an injury, because there's no reason not to do it. But yeah, all right, we'll see you all later, guys. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.